Now let me introduce you with the concept of slicing a list. What is slicing of a list? It is basically used to get a range of values from within a list. Suppose I have a list of 10 values and I want to get the values from 2 to 5 or 5 to 8. So I will use this slicing concept. So what is how to use this slicing? Suppose I'll start the bracket of the list. I'll give the start value, then the stop value, and the steps value. The step value is basically like if we want to iterate twice on the list or once on the list, that is what we are providing in the steps. It will be more clear when I will show you some example. So as I said, slicing will start from the start index and then the stop index. It will stop at this index. Suppose I want a value from 5 to 8. I will write 5 over here, 8 over here. And this is not necessary. By default, it is 1. And the start value is also by default 0. And the stop value is by default the length of the array. So let's look into that. What is going to happen? Suppose I've created one list. Okay. And the list ranges from 1 to 11. That is it will contain 10 values from 1 to 10, and I will declare it. Wait, for the better understanding. Yeah, I just declared it. So now the list is created with 1 to 10 values, and I want to just get the sliced value from it. Okay, let's check what is going to happen now. So I gave the starting index as 1, okay, and the last length of the value as 5. So what is happening? It will fetch the value from 1, which is the list has value as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So when slicing is done, it will go to the index 1, which is the start position of the list, and then the stop, which is the length of the list. The stop will happen 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it will go to this. From this to this, it will slice, and the steps taken were 1, 1, 2, 3 over here. So it will slice the values from here to here, and it will print the values. Okay. Similarly, I want to get the values from the starting index of 5 up till the length of 8. Okay. Uh, Last index is 8. Let's just see what happens. So it is printing the index value at 5, which is 6, and 7, and then 8. Okay. Similarly, if we want to print the value up to the last index, we just don't need to give any value to the stop index. It will take the default value and print it. Now let's look into that also. The default value is already provided. If we haven't provided anything, it will take the default value, which is the last index. So look into the value, and yeah, it got printed. Similarly, if we haven't given any index at the start, it will take the starting index default value as 0, and it will print from there. Yeah. So basically, when they are printing the stop index, what is happening? You might have noticed that it goes up to the length of the it goes up to the length of the list. Suppose the length is 5, so it will print the 5. But for the start value, we have to provide the index number. Okay. So if I just use the default value and just write it with my value 0 to 5, let's just see what happens. Same value. Okay. And as I said that it will take one iteration. Now let's just stick with the 2 iteration of list. What is going to happen? it should, as the start index is 1, so it will print from 2 up till 8. 8 is the length, so 2 to 8, and with the iteration of 2. So what should be the output? 2, 4, 6, and 8, the expected output. Let's just see what happens. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay. Now one of the most important application of slicing is this reversal of a string. Usually we have to write so many for loops, and inside the loop we have to use so many concepts in the other programming language to reverse a string. But in this, we are just going to use the slicing of a list, and we will just get the reverse list. What is happening? We are giving the starting index, which is 0, and the length of the list, which is 10. So even I haven't given any value, it will just take the default value, and the minus negative. So minus negative index, what it will do is it will iterate negatively over the list. So it will go instead of giving the ascending value, it will give the descending value from, from 10 to 1. Just let's see what happens now. Okay, list reverse. So instead of a list, if we just give any string, suppose I assign a variable. String is also a list. Okay, and I just give s over here. The strings behave as a list in Python. So whatever things we can apply on a list, the same things we can apply on string as well. See, it's just reverse my name. So it is very cool. I just wrote one line and it's just reversed my name. Okay.